It's my birthday. We gonna party like it's my birthday. Hey friends, and welcome to La Rosa Reads. I'm Denise La Rosa, and today I'm going to participate in the birthday cake tag. Let's talk books. Oh, I love our booktube community. Shout out to Heather from Reading with a Vengeance. She tagged me for this cake tag, and I was so excited because your girl loves books and your girl loves cake, and I knew it would be the perfect tag to participate in during my birthday month, which is March. So here's how this tag works. I will be telling you about a specific type of cake, and with that cake is a prompt of the type of book that makes you think of that cake. So I'll tell you the cake flavor, describe what type of book goes with that flavor, and then show you the book that I chose to match the cake. Let's do this. The first cake we'll be talking about is chocolate cake, which represents a dark book that you absolutely love. And that book for me is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This book is dark, it's a thriller, it's a mystery, and it's about a homosexual couple that is an interracial couple who were tragically murdered, slaughtered, just absolutely killed in the worst way. And their fathers are both criminals, former criminals, and very gritty and against the members of the LGBTQ plus community. They don't understand it. They don't approve of their sons' love of each other. And that all changes once their children, their sons, perish. And so they come together, these two unlikely men, a black man, a white man, and they make it their life's work and mission to hunt down and murder the killers of their sons. During that time, they are grappling with all that they missed, all that they did wrong when it comes to being the fathers that their sons needed. And also they form this unlikely friendship. So there's a lot happening here. It is dark, it's gritty. It's oftentimes disturbing the way that these fathers speak to being queer, homosexual. It's just really awful. And yet it helps you love these characters who died so early in the story and feel like you know them, and you just feel for them all the more. So this is my choice for chocolate cake. Our next cake flavor is vanilla, which represents a light read, and I chose Yinka. Where's your husband, girl? This is a book that I read at Myrtle Beach last summer. You know how you read a book and you remember exactly where you were when you were reading that book, and it gives you all the feels. I just remember flying through the story, smiling, laughing. The characters were hilarious. Some of the banter and the interactions that the characters had with each other were just so funny. Yinka, I wanted to hug her. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to shake her. I wanted to cry with her. She just took you on this wild ride, and I just absolutely loved it. The aunties were great. The friendships were great. The dudes that she was hooking up with, she being Yinka, were quite eclectic and had a lot going on themselves. It was a light read that I zipped through. I highly recommend Yinka. Where is your husband? Red Velvet. Red Velvet Cake, in this case, represents a book that gave you mixed emotions. This is a recent read of mine by one of my favorite authors, and the book is titled This Close to Okay by Lisa Cross Smith. I'm telling you guys, I still struggle with this book. So I feel like I'm going to sound like Sophia from the Golden Girls. Picture it. A woman driving along on the highway, taking a glance over at the bridge where she sees a man about to take his life. It's pouring the rain. She pulls over and decides to engage in a conversation with this complete stranger. And some way, somehow, she stops him from taking his own life, from jumping off the bridge. And they end up having coffee together. And then they end up at her house. And he ends up staying there for a couple of nights until he can figure out what he's going to do next. And he says his name is Emmett, but she knows nothing about him and he's not really forthcoming in information about himself. So, as you can tell from my expression, I ain't buying it. Like, your girl was like trying to get into it, but I just could not escape the fact that, like, who would do this? Like, who would do this? Like, not like knocking her willingness to jump in and help someone, but like it's just dangerous. It just sounds wrong and naive and just odd for a 30-something-year-old woman who also, by the way, happens to be a therapist. Then this weekend ends up like their relationship transforms from this awkward stranger thing to like friend thing to like lovers thing, all in the matter of 3 days. But yet and still, like, I kept reading. I didn't DNF it because the characters were really interesting. I actually found myself kind of rooting for them to get together, and I kind of questioned myself for that. And then it ends, like, it takes a twist and it ends in a very interesting way. The ending was more realistic than the beginning. You see how I'm talking. Like, obviously this represents the velvet mixed emotions of this prompt because, like, I don't know what to think of this book. And I love me some Lisa Cross Smith, but your girl is just sitting here, like, still scratching her head, like, what just happened here? What just happened? And then there's The Delicious Cheesecake, a book you would recommend to anyone. That book for me is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Before the Coffee Gets Cold is a collection of short stories that involve time travel. There's this coffee shop in Japan where you can sit in this specific chair. And when you sit in this chair, you have the ability to travel in the past. And actually the second book in this 3-part series, this 3-book series, allows you to travel into the future as well. There's a lot of stipulations, a lot of rules attached. So it's not as accessible like as you would think. But these collection of short stories, to me, if I could find one word that embodies the vibe, it's relationships. Whether you are talking about a boyfriend and girlfriend, a husband and wife, sisters, mother-daughter, boyfriend, girlfriend. Relationships are at the heart of all of these collections of short stories and just allow you to question and ask yourself, if I could travel back into the past, what would I change, knowing that it wouldn't change the present. I think it's a classic, anyone would enjoy it type of book, and that is my cheesecake. All right, I love coffee and I love cake, but I don't love them together. And so I really appreciate that The Coffee Cake is a book you did not finish. And that book for me is Madam. I am not typically a DNFer. I typically finish books, but Madam just wasn't it for me. I was led to believe this book would be full of salacious, entertaining, intriguing truths about this madam that lived in the 1920s. That era is just so fascinating to me. And this book was so chock full of research that just felt like the author did the research and put it on paper, but didn't offer us anything in between, like to connect and draw us in. It was just like regurgitating like what happened in a very factual manner without any storytelling attached. And so that left me being extremely bored. I tried the audiobook hoping that I could zip through that and get through. And it was so painful and I wasted my money on the audiobook and the physical copy. Madam, ain't it, baby. Our Carrot Cake is a book that has absolutely beautiful writing. And that book for me is The Song of Achilles. Why do I always sing when I say that title? Maybe because it has song in the title? Whatever. Your nerdy girl is at it again. Madeline Miller's writing is just impeccable. It is intoxicating. It is sublime. It is just simply exquisite. I found myself like just doing this motion as I'm reading, like, oh, superb. Chef's kiss to you, Madeline Miller. You drew me in with every word. There wasn't a single word wasted. Every word had meaning. But yet the prose, it wasn't just like a flat story, Like there was beautiful prose, but it wasn't a waste. It wasn't just empty words. I love the Song of Achilles because Madeline Miller's writing is just at its best. This is my carrot cake. And then there's tiramisu. Not a favorite cake of mine, like for real, but this is a book that you didn't want to have end. And for me, that book is Half Blown Rose, baby. I did not want this story to end. And what I love about the author, Lisa Cross Smith, what she did with this book, what I love about it is that you could take it in so many directions. That next chapter could be written. And as a reader, I love kind of imagining writing the next chapter. And she gave you so many possible directions to go in if you're that type of reader that wants to imagine like what happens next. This is a story that truly could have continued for quite a long time. It could be a book series, but yet I left it feeling satisfied by just standing on its own. I almost think I would be disenchanted if this book continued. I like how she left it to the reader to carry it on in their mind. So this is my tiramisu. 2 more cakes to go, friends. The next cake is Cupcakes, and it's about a book series that has 4 or more books in it. And for me, I wanted to share with you The Wedding Date series by Jasmine Guillory. I have read The Wedding Date. I have read The Proposal. Those are books 1 and 2. I read book 4, The Royal Holiday, and your girl keeps promising herself she's going to read book 3. I believe there are 6 or 7 books in this series. I promise you, I love the series and I want to get to it. I don't know what's preventing me from reading it. I've owned this book, I think, for 2 years, oddly enough. But this is a delightful series that you don't have to read in order. So I hope to get to all 7 of these books. Reading the first 2 and the 4th one was great. This one's like sandwiched in between, and I really want to get to it. So I hope I can do that soon. Jasmine Guillory delivers with romance. She gives you everything you want. This book series does not have to be read in order, but people have told me that you will have more appreciation for how the characters are interconnected if you read the books in order. So I started with book 4, traveled to book 1 and book 2. Here's book 3. I cannot wait to finish up the Wedding Date series. Last but not least is Fruitcake. This is a book that was not what you anticipated at all. And when it comes to tags and any opportunity to feature this book, I'm going to do it. This was the perfect prompt to do that. And it is Black Buck, baby. Black Buck by Mateo Escarapor is, it's just full of goodness, okay? I got this book because at the time, I was really into Read with Jenna. She really has great selections. The cover, obviously it takes place in New York City with the Empire State Building. We've got a black hand. We've got coffee cup. It was giving me all the things that I enjoy in life and am intrigued by. And so I thought, okay, this is going to be about a young man, Darren, who is ambitious and is seeking opportunities. He finds this job. Originally, he was working at a Starbucks, and then he ends up coming up on this job that can take him to the next level. And I thought, okay, that's going to be fun, interesting, a nice, little ride there. And oh my gosh, Mateo had one turn after another, one twist and turn. I was like, whoa, what happened? Whoa, what happened? Whoa, what are you doing? And I loved every minute. It got wilder by the page, but yet I didn't care that it ended up becoming like a satire and almost unbelievable. I actually loved it for that reason. This was not what I anticipated. It became so much more. Black Buck, I love you. All right, that was the birthday cake tag. Thank you again, Heather from Reading with a Vengeance, for tagging me so long ago. Thank you for your patience. Let me know what books would fit the prompts for you. I am really curious. And Please tell me what your favorite flavor of cake is and leave me a cake emoji. Like, let's cake it up. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.